Hey folks, welcome to the final video in the course on revenue management. We're going to talk about marketing. You get more of this in other courses, so I'm not going to go too in depth on it, but a few things that I want to talk about coming right up here. So first thing is ways to increase your revenue. So there's 4 different ways that we talk about in this course. First one is market development, and that's talking about selling your current product to new customers. So finding new customers that you can entice to come into your business and buy the products that you have. So your current menu, just getting more customers in, whether it's through promotions or through advertising or whatever, right? The second thing we're going to talk about is product development. So now you've got your customer base that you have, and then you're going to come up with new items to sell them that maybe they're more profitable, maybe you're going to get more upselling out of them, maybe you're going to make more revenue that way. The third thing is market penetration. So selling your current products to current customer base more frequently. So trying to get them to come into your restaurant more often, right? So trying to get, instead of a customer coming in once every 3 weeks, maybe they come in once a week, right? So again, we're going to talk about different ways that we can market to those people. And then lastly is diversification. So selling new products in a new market of customers, right? So new products to new customers, diversifying your customer base. So first thing I want to talk about is external marketing. And this is where anything we can do to market outside of our restaurant, right? So things like advertising on TV, billboards, radio, flyers in people's mailboxes, things like that. Public relations, PR, signage, even your sign outside your building, right? Internet exposure, doing social media, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat, whatever you're using, right? Anything to entice people to come into your restaurant. Now, the second part of that is internal marketing. So how do we market to the customer to get them to buy what we want them to buy once they're in our establishment, right? So the first most important piece of marketing in your restaurant is your menu, right? Your menu is your number one piece of marketing. And when you get into, I forget which course it is, but you're going to do menu building and menu analysis in your 3rd semester. The name of the course eludes me at the moment, right? But you're going to get into how you build your menu. You go to a restaurant, and Boston Pizza is a great example of this. They have boxes for things that they want to sell that your eye goes to first off, right? They're going to have little stars beside things that are popular. Well, that's not because they're popular because, just because customers buy it. It's because they put a little star there and your eye goes to it, right? And ways to write your menus that's enticing so that you're selling your most profitable items, right? Electronic communication. So you can email your customers, loyalty programs, right? I should change the slide here. Loyalty programs. So a lot of businesses, even like McDonald's, when you go to get a coffee, right? You get that little card and you get the sticker. So every time you get, I think it's 10 coffees, you get a free coffee, right? Things like that can really breed loyalty and get your customers coming back more often than they would have before, right? Servers are your best marketing tool. A well-trained server will upsell and have a better average check than an untrained server, right? You want your servers to know which items are most profitable for you on your menu so that they, you go into a restaurant and you ask the customer, hey, what's good here? Or ask the server, what's good here? They're going to tell you what the most profitable item is if they've been trained properly, right? They're not going to tell you to order the strip loin steak because there isn't a huge profit margin on that. They're probably going to sell you the vegetarian linguine pasta that, there's not a lot of food cost on. So that's the point of having servers, as well as they can upsell, right? They can get you to share an appetizer or a dessert or a special coffee at the end, right? And lastly, on our list of internal marketing is obviously the food and drink presentation. Making sure the food looks good, smells good, right? Entices people. You're sitting at your table, waiting, looking at the menu, and the waiter walks by with this sizzling fajita platter. Why is that sizzling? Why is that platter of fajitas sizzling? Not because it's super hot. It's because the chef squirted a little bit of water on the cast iron skillet just as soon as it left the kitchen to get it sizzling, so it attracts your attention. You're like, oh, and then you start drooling, and you're like, oh, I want fajitas, right? So how the food and drink is presented can be really, really important marketing tool, right? And we talked about server suggestive selling, right? Servers should be encouraging the sales of certain food and additional menu categories. So that's selling the most profitable items, selling items that maybe you want to sell before you have to throw them out. I'm not saying sell bad or outdated items, but selling things that are getting to that point where, it's not going to be good for tomorrow, right? So we want to get those slower products moving so that we don't have that waste factor, right? And then obviously upselling is huge, right? If you can get an extra $1 per customer coming out of your restaurant over the course of a year and 1 million customers coming in, well, that's an extra $1 million in revenue. And upselling is the most profitable way to increase your profit because the customer is already there buying their main course. So you've paid for all your labor, you've paid for your rent, you've paid for your utilities, you've paid for all those. All you're going to do when you have upselling is you're going to increase your food costs a little bit. So the profit margin on that extra $1 that you bring in is no longer 5%. It's now more like 50 or 60%, right? At least. So great way to increase your profit margins as well as your overall sales. All right. That's the end of the course. That's all I need to talk about. So good luck and have a good career.